Well, statelessness is a reality for more than 12 million people across the globe, according to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Disallowed access to a nationality, hundreds of thousands continue to endure a marginal, shadowy existence, feeling the generational impact of a lack of documentation on their basic human rights and freedoms. To shed some light on the issue, we have in our Pretoria studios Liesel Muller. She's an attorney in the Statelessness Project for Lawyers for Human Rights. Good afternoon, Liesel, and thank you for your time on the PM News Desk.
Good afternoon.
Break it down for us, Liesel. What is statelessness exactly?
Well, in terms of the international conventions on statelessness, a stateless person is someone who is not considered to be a citizen of any country in the world. So the person is without a country to recognize his rights, and he is effectively rightless and without a state to protect its rights also.
This effectively leaves a human being without a nationality. Tell us how one's rights are violated without nationality or without citizenship.
Yes, a person without nationality also has no access to enabling documents like a birth certificate or an ID document. In South Africa, an ID document is a very important document because you will use it to rent a home to stay in, to legally apply for a job, or to access healthcare services. So the ID document in South Africa is something that you really need to, in fact, do anything in this country. And then also one cannot participate in the political community. You cannot vote or run for office.
From what you're saying, Liesel, it becomes clear that human rights are simply unenforceable without a nationality. But statelessness, though, is not new. Although recognized by the international community for decades, it still remains a big human rights challenge that's really not getting the attention it deserves. Why is this, Liesel?
Yes, nationality is basically the right to have other rights. In South Africa, I believe that it is due to a general lack of understanding of the problem. We are also in a state of denial that the problem exists. Our project is advocating for the recognition of this problem and also for the signature of the international conventions on statelessness. I think the first step towards recognizing these people's rights would be to acknowledge that there is a problem and then take it from there to develop a mechanism to protect them.
Lisa, let's talk quickly about the new immigration regulation. Now, the aim of that is to regulate the migration of foreigners who are coming into the country. But how will it impact on refugees, asylum seekers, and more especially on those whose work permits are about to expire?
Well, the new Immigration Act doesn't really have an effect on stateless people per se, because there is already a permit for them to expire in their case. For our refugees, the clients that we have, the new immigration laws makes it much more difficult for a refugee, the spouse of a refugee, to stay in South Africa on a spousal permit, which is very worrying. It also makes it more difficult for people who are not married to live together in South Africa as dependents.
How critical, Liesel, is the need for training in addition to law reforms? Because it does become clear there's a misunderstanding about who a stateless person is and how, and it does look like right now there are no guidelines in the law on how to identify these people and what rights they are entitled to.
Yes, it's very important for us to come up with a mechanism within our law to identify, firstly, a stateless person, and then also to give us a mechanism by which to protect the stateless person's rights. So it would be almost the same as the refugee determination process, and once a person is considered stateless, he would also have an enabling document enabling him to travel and work, and also have all the other human rights that citizens have.
In a nutshell, Liesel, how do we solve the problem of statelessness in the country? Surely this is not just a South African issue. It needs a cohesive regional approach.
Yes, definitely. In my opinion, birth registration is the most important thing that we need to focus on in order to prevent statelessness. If we don't register the children who are born in South Africa consistently, we will have people who, when they turn 18, when they become adults, they will not be able to prove their citizenship. They will not be able to prove where they were born or the identity of their parents. Also, for foreigners who were born in South Africa, once that person goes back to his country, he will need the birth certificate from South Africa in order also to prove the country of his birth. So we need to really approach this, as you said, on a regional basis. Also for people who are South African citizens born in neighboring countries, when such a person returns to South Africa, he will need to produce a birth certificate from that country of origin, which means that in countries where the birth registration rate is very low, it will be difficult for people who are born there to access citizenship in South Africa.
Thank you, Liesel Muller, an attorney at Lawyers for Human Rights. Thank you for your time on the PM News Desk.